Welcome. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Cultural Coast. I'm Reverend Theresa and I am the founding minister here in this spiritual community. We're located in Sarasota, Florida, on the Cultural Coast of Florida. And we're broadcasting live, though, all over the world. All over the world. We have people popping in from Austria and the DC area, and then the west coast of Florida, and everywhere in between. And it is just so incredibly exciting. So exciting. And I'm happy that you're here. And I know who you are. I know who you are. You are a unique, creative, intelligent incarnation of the divine. You are here. You are here to shine your light. You are here to gift your gifts to the world. There's one source and substance of all life, and it's animating yours now, yesterday, and tomorrow. And that's what we're here to discover together, the real depths and the real juiciness of that truth. And so if you resonate with this message, if it inspires you, then I want you to invite your friends. You can do that now. You can share this link. You can do it after we're finished with our message this morning. You can do it anytime during the week by sharing our post. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can share those talks that really resonated with you. The music that felt so inspiring. You can share that with your friends and family, and I encourage you to do that. Everyone, too, I want to remind you, everyone is invited to our Zoom social time after this gathering, after our celebration. We do just an hour, and we usually are either doing a spiritual practice together or we're taking the topic from that day and we're going deep. And we're having a deeper conversation about how it's working in our lives or the challenges that we find. And we're doing that in spiritual community together. So everyone's invited to do that as well. And I post the link at the end on the chat. It's also on the email that we send out every Thursday morning. So make sure that you're in the loop with us on those things. And again, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being here because this is your part of helping to make the world a better place. This is you taking care of your spiritual life. You connecting. You taking care of your consciousness, which is what life is all about. It's what life is all about. It's what the divine is consciousness. And it's our first step. Each one of us, it's our first step in making this a world that works for everyone. What you think, what you feel, what you say, what you do matters. It matters in your life and it matters in my life. We want to come to a lived experience, a felt experience, an everyday 24/7 walking around experience of this thing called life as a spiritual truth, as a spiritual reality. That's our fuel in the world. That's our fuel in the world. And that's our individual, unique, authentic expression in the world. So let's take this idea into prayer right now. That what I know is there's only one thing ever happening. One thing ever happening. We can call it God, creator, source, energy, essence, but it is that allness of life that is coming from the infinite, invisible, unconditionally loving, supportive in every way realm into the visible. It is that divine coming into life by means of me, by means of each person within the sound of my voice, each person, everything, everywhere. Everywhere present. All powerful, all loving, all goodness. That's what I know is happening. So right here and right now, I uplift my thoughts to that truth. I open my heart and mind to feel to lean into, to fall into the abyss of love in a greater way than ever before. I affirm for each one of us that whatever brought us here in this moment, whatever our heart, our soul was seeking, it is found, it is revealed, it is uncovered, it is discovered. For all our truth resides within. Your truth, my truth, the truth. It's here for the asking. And so it is. So thank you so much again for being here. We have a treat this morning. We have Fairy Elaine, or Elaine Silver, or Elaine, the Vice President of the Board, or Elaine, our licensed Centers for Spiritual Living practitioner, the prolific songwriter, the beautiful heart, the generous one, whatever we want to call her. She's here with us this morning with her guitar strapped on to uplift and inspire us. So please help me welcome Elaine Silver.
Good morning. Well, this is a new song. I think this is the debut. I wrote it a few months ago. I was on my morning bike ride, and I was over by the levee. Do you know we have a levee in Sarasota? By Bay Vista and Lockwood Ridge, and there's not usually anybody on there when I ride my bike, and I saw these two people, and I kind of had a negative thought about them, and then I watched myself have a negative thought about these people, and then I sort of tried to cancel, and well, as I was canceling the thought, I was getting closer to them, and when I got up to them, I noticed it was a man and a woman, and he was a few steps ahead of her, and I think they might have been arguing. So I said, "Good morning." It was as if I wasn't there. And then I watched myself take it a little bit personally, and I don't think they heard me, but I said, "What am I, invisible?" And then all of a sudden this song came out. It's called An Invisible Woman. It goes like this. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an invisible woman. And I got superpowers. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an invisible woman. Blessed with superpowers. My power is my consciousness. My power is my happiness. My power is my gratefulness. My power is my gracefulness. My power is my mindfulness. My power is my joyfulness. My power is my peacefulness. Flowing in and out of bliss. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an invisible woman. Blessed with superpowers. I share and the grace I show bring me to that sacred flow. I know how to shift and grow, and I'm an empowered woman. Life is full of challenges, and life is a game that can be played, turning lemons to lemonade. The power is at our command, and I'm an empowered woman. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an empowered woman. I'm an invisible woman. Blessed with superpowers. My power is my consciousness. My power is my happiness. My power is my gratefulness. My power is my gracefulness. My power is my mindfulness. My power is my joyfulness. My power is my peacefulness, flowing in and out of bliss. Stepping out. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an invisible woman. I'm an invisible woman, blessed with superpowers. I got superpowers, blessed with superpowers. I got superpowers. And so it is.
All right, thank you, Elaine. Thank you for that empowering song. Today's reading is from Science of Mind magazine, this month's Science of Mind magazine, page 58. Today's reading starts off with a quote from Kabir. "The flute of the infinite is played without ceasing, and its sound is love." And the next quote is from Ernest Holmes. "Learn to be at home in the universe. No more loneliness. No more sense of isolation. See God in everyone. The same God with a different face, the same animating principle with a different form, the same divine presence clothed in individual expression." And so this reading is written by Reverend Karen Wiley, called "The Greatest Gift You Can Give." She says, "How about showing up as love itself? To do that, you may have to let go of some pretty clear boundaries you've created to keep yourself from being hurt or disappointed. We can always think of a good reason to withhold our love. Maybe your new motto could be, I'm going to lead with love. What's the worst that can happen? You give it and you feel you don't get anything back. You give it and it's unappreciated. You will survive. Love is the last outpost of great living. Love heals everything, including your own heart. Love opens up avenues to forgiveness and understanding. We think we are loving beings, but I think many of us are living with hearts blocked by the pain and suffering of the past. That limits our ability to see the world as a safe and loving place. We begin to define our outer world and its parameters based on our inner pain. We can live in limitation until we die, or we can choose to take a chance on love. We can decide that we don't want to live the rest of our lives hiding out from ourselves. So without regard for what you are receiving, decide from now on to be a giver of life. Decide that you will be the one who brings the love, beauty, and grace to every situation. You will be the one to shine the light wherever you are. You will be the instrument through which great healing happens. And Reverend Wiley's affirmation, I live my life from the love that I am. And now another song from Elaine.
Ah, that was really sweet, Bobby. One of the things that jumped out at me was the pain and suffering of the past. You know, we can go back to the past in our mind, but there's no power there, and we can think about the future, but when we set those intentions, the power is in the moment. So it's about building our future one belief at a time, but we're building it now. So this is called One Belief at a Time. I'm building my future one belief at a time. It's nature or nurture, one belief at a time. I'm building my future one belief at a time. It's nature or nurture, one belief at a time. It is done unto you as you believe, and it comes as you open to receive. You can achieve all that you can conceive. It is done unto you as you believe. I'm building my future, one belief at a time. It's nature or nurture, one belief at a time. And I broke my arm a few years ago, and I wrote this song during that time. Some of the lines in this are directly from Ernest Holmes, like building my future one belief at a time. And when I was healing my arm, this one line really reached out to me as well. And Ernest says, I am my own healer, guru and guide. And I said, I know that the answers come from deep inside. And Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe, and all is divine. I'm building my own future, one belief at a time. I'm building my future, one belief at a time. It's nature and nurture, one belief at a time. It is done unto you as you believe, and it comes as you open to receive. You can achieve all that you can conceive. It is done unto you as you believe. I'm building my future, one belief at a time. It's nature and nurture, one belief at a time. I am my own healer, guru and guide. I know that the answers come from deep inside. Now, I used to be pretty well known in New Jersey as the folk music queen. And I learned in folk music school that we have something called a zipper song or a zipper line. And you can put anything in that line and just keep the song going. So this third line, I decided I wanted to collect some spiritual cliches and sayings. So before, the first time I sang, it is done unto you as you believe. Now this part, and all is divine. So it doesn't even have to rhyme, because you end it with all is divine. I'm building my own future, one belief at a time. So instead of it is done unto you as you believe, how about this one? There's a power for good in the universe, and all is divine. And then this one, everything happens for a reason, and all is divine. What goes around comes around, and all is divine. It is what it is, right? And all is divine. How about this one? There is not a spot where God is not, and all is divine. This was my personal favorite. What you think of me is none of my business, and all is divine. I'm building my own future, one belief at a time. I'm building my future, one belief at a time. It's nature or nurture, one belief at a time. I'm building my future, one belief at a time, one belief at a time, one belief at a time, one belief at a time.
Oh, Elaine, thank you so much. That's fabulous. That's you have such a unique, inspired, I'm sure, gift at teaching through song, teaching through your music. It's awesome. It's your authentic way of shining your light in the world. And I can't tell you, I tell you a lot, but I'm going to tell you again in front of God and everybody how grateful I am you're here with us. just how grateful I am. Thank you so much. Beautiful song. And it's exactly, what we're talking about. We're talking about stepping out and stepping up. Stepping out and stepping up. And I might also say a little bit of speaking up and speaking out also. All of us can do this. All of us have an authentic light. Elaine isn't unique in that. We all have an authentic light that wants to shine forth, a bright light and a brave new way of being. And I encourage that. I want that more than anything. And so that's what this morning is all about. I want to start with this beautiful quote, and I happen to know that Elaine really likes this quote too, because we've talked about it before. But another Ernest Holmes quote: man's mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, from prayer to performance. And then he goes on to say, let us feel that our purposes are animated and inspired from on high. And then let us go forth and make our dream come true in human existence. That's what we're here for. That is what we are here for. So all last month, the month of March, we were honing our skills around the spiritual practice of visioning. Visioning is a process of opening our hearts and minds to the allness of the divine, to spiritual inspiration. We're listening and leaning in to our intuition, listening for a higher calling, purpose, meaning, highest possibilities. Highest possibilities. But to live that, to live from that space, takes courage, doesn't it? It's a little difficult sometimes, but our work this month has been all about stepping out, all about stepping into the unknown. If it's a vision, if it's an inspiration, a divine download, we don't know what the whole picture looks like, do we? We have to travel in a way of trust. And so that's what we've been looking at this month. And the key principles that we're really utilizing for that, and this is what the mystics have always taught, this universal principles of, that we live and move and have our being in a loving and supportive universe. Yeah, that there's a creative intelligence that we are created of and that we are immersed in, that we are surrounded by, and it's bringing all of form into existence by a very act upon itself. The ultimate love. The ultimate love. But it didn't bring us here and leave us. It's very, very present. And that's the ultimate law. That's our word has power. Our intentions have power. And all of this is available through our consciousness, through our conscious mental use of our capacities. All is consciousness. God is consciousness. One source, one substance. All form, all life is made up of this. All of life is some expression of this divine creation. And we're inseparable from it. We're inseparable from it, and we're acceptable, and we're inseparable from each other. Yeah. We are an extension of it and of each other. We are forever interconnected. So, remembering that, let's look again at this quote that I began with of Ernest Holmes, that man's mind should swing from inspiration to action. See, we don't just stay in that place of receptivity and om. We want to move from that contemplation of the allness of life to accomplishment. We can use it, and it can use us. Because again, we are to feel that our purposes are animated and inspired from on high. It is moving in, as, and through us. We're to go forth into life knowing who and what we are. Yeah, what an empowered life. What an empowered life. And we're forever called into this. Like, we don't wake up one day and have an awareness and that's it. Again, it's an ongoing thing. We're constantly being called into our greater yet to be, personally and collectively. In my favorite Ernest Holmes book, this thing called You, he writes, the greatest gift that life could have made to you is yourself. The greatest gift that life could have made to you is yourself. You are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in the great drama of being, the great drama of becoming, he says, and the certainty of eternal expansion. Eternal expansion. Evolution is always happening. That's what life's all about, isn't it? Yet, when we receive these hunches, these nudges, these bits of intuition, or a divine download, a whole vision, we don't always listen, do we? Why? Why is that? Because we distrust that it's true. We don't really believe that it could be true for us. We're stuck in our limited thinking. Maybe that gets in the way. Oh, it couldn't be for me. This must be somebody else's vision. We have fear. We get paralyzed in that. I don't know. But the Science of Mind teaching is all about change your thinking, change your life. And while that sounds really simple, it is not easy. I get it, it's not easy, but it is so very possible. It is so possible. You know, even in the midst of the news, and the conditions of life that distract us from these truths, from these universal principles. And what a week we've had with that, right? I don't know about you, but I have really deeply felt it this week. I'm not normally a news watcher, but I was really interested in the murder verdict of the George Floyd trial going on. And so I was watching for that verdict. Now, surprisingly, I had an emotional ride after it was given. And in part, it was a mixture of joy and sadness, because still a man lost his life. And I think our country and the world was traumatized by watching his murder over and over and over again being replayed. And then the very next day, I saw a video of the young teen in Ohio, Makaya Bryant, that was shot. Now, she was lunging at another young teen with a knife in her hand, with an intent to harm. You could see that. But she lost her life from a police bullet. And it's just sad. It is just sad. And I don't pretend to have all the answers to that, other than to know that I'm deeply wounded by that, because we're inseparable. Because we're inseparable. Because we're all divine. Look, Science of Mind does not say that everything is fine when it isn't. If you've had that perception, please let it go. We don't deny that conditions exist. We deny that they have to continue. And we can't relinquish that work simply by saying it's God's will. God needs to do the work, and sit in prayer and contemplation. No, we have to move forward with that conviction that I am the hands and feet. I am the divine in form, as are you. There's some effed up stuff happening in the world, and we are not distanced from it. It's within us. It is us. It's an extension of us. But as my friend and colleague Masato Hayaroka wrote in the Science Mind magazine. He has a regular monthly column in there. We're making progress. We are making progress. This country has a long history of violence. We have a history of slavery. We have a history of terrible abuse against non-white, non-Christian Americans. And as he wrote, this is a time of great transformation. This is a time of great transformation. And each one of us are part of that evolutionary process, always happening all the time, individually and collectively. We are it. The time is now. But to do that action and accomplishment piece that Ernest Holmes is talking about, we can't stay in our comfort zone. We can't stay in a place where we're afraid of risking, where we're afraid of stepping out and stepping up. We are being called here at this time for a reason. There's a reason you are here now. And this practice of visioning that we really were looking at deeply in March is an ongoing practice. We didn't do it in March and stop it. It's ongoing. Bobby and I do it every Tuesday. I'm wondering if you would be interested in joining us in that. I could set up the camera. We could do it on Zoom right here from our home if you would be interested in visioning with us. Then I ask you to let me know. You can put it in the chat, you can send me a text message, you can send me an email, you can tell me on the Zoom after the service. I'm curious. This listening for clarity is ongoing. And your unique purpose is unfolding, right? And it's something that you can do that no one else can do like you. I mean, we have fabulous musicians that come on and share their gifts with us, and they're each unique, yes? There's fabulous people speaking this morning, each unique. We each have our own voice. And choosing to ignore it, choosing to ignore our purpose, our reason for being here, keeps us living small, keeps us so confined. And we miss out. We miss out on all that life has for us. And then life in turn, the world misses out on us. The world misses out on you when you don't shine forth. We're all needed. Every one of us. We are needed. And our oneness is our protection, if you will, is our safety net. There's a creative power within our collective oneness. There's a presence that is forever guiding and guarding each step that we make. So when we step out, we don't step out alone. We step out in divine company. Thich Nhat Hanh says, quote, "Enlightenment for a wave in the ocean is the moment the wave realizes it is water." When we realize we are not separate, but a part of the huge ocean of everything, we become enlightened. We realize this through practice, and we remain awake and aware of this through more practice. Thank you, wise Zen master. Thank you. You know, Ernest Holmes in that quote told us it's both contemplation, prayer, and action, right? It's all of that we use when we step out. So stepping out is stepping beyond your comfort zone. And stepping up is stepping up into your spiritual magnificence, is stepping up into a higher vibration and a higher truth. We are one, and we are part of something bigger than ourselves in that oneness. So this whole month we're looking at the journey that we take into the unknown, into this mystery. It's a grand experience. adventure, and let us do it with that kind of enthusiasm. Let us do it with excitement and joy, not trepidation and fear. And one thing that can help us with that is to continue to ask the questions. Stay in that realm of curiosity and continue to ask self-discovery kind of questions. Yeah, and that helps us create a sense of closeness with intuition with the capital I, with that grand vision that wants to unfold from us, through us. You know, we can have a partnership, a friendship, a camaraderie, a communion with the divine that's friendly and familiar. And we do that through our practice, just like Thich Nhat Hanh says. And we can ask, you know, what will I bring on this journey? What will I bring into this greater yet to be? And what will I leave behind? And we witness within ourselves a personal journey unfolding. And then we witness also how that personal journey unfolding affects the greater good. The greater good, because again, we're inseparable. Marianne Williamson tells us, and I agree 100%, that each of us has a unique part to play in the healing of the world. Each of us has a unique part to play. Do you feel that? Do you feel that? Do those words resonate with you? You know, even as a young girl, I knew that there was this urge with a capital U, there was this passion with a capital P, there was this self with a capital S that wanted to move through me. There was something greater always, even when I made, quote, mistakes, even when I, quote, messed up. There was something that wanted to emerge that was better, that was of a higher vibration, that was of love. And I've always had this calling to be more brave, more bold, more vibrant in the world. Does that resonate with you? In order to step out and step up, it requires us to be brave, doesn't it? In Brené Brown's third book, Braving the Wilderness, awesome book. I love all her books. I love all her work. You know, she's a fabulous researcher and really just writes about it in such a way that it really touches my heart. But she says, regardless of what others say, what others think, this is your unique life. You know, that's what she's telling us in her books. That we're a unique version of that divine thing, that energy, that essence. This is your life and your time. And so we want to continue to ask courageous questions. She says, if I was, and I want you to think about this right now, if you were living your life more fully, what would you be doing? If you were living your life more fully, more freely expressed, what would you be doing? Why aren't you doing it? Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Do it now. Brené Brown says, step out alone if you have to. But you know what? You don't have to step out alone. You're in this spiritual community. We're here. We're family. We're here to support one another in stepping out. Your practitioners are here to support you in stepping out. And that's the main point that I really want to get across, I think, this morning is Science of Mind offers us a perfect roadmap for spiritual, emotional, physical, and financial awakening. And specifically, your Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast is here to support your journey. This is your playground. This is your time for exploration, and this is your safe haven. This is your safe place. Now, each one of you are an integral part of the universal creative process, and you're part of this community. And each one of you have a story to tell. You have a story to tell about how these teachings have changed your life. Each one of you has a unique passion to unleash and unleash into the world. And we support one another in doing that. We're strong in conviction and strong in faith. And the world needs you to step up, to step out. I need you. I need you to step up and step out, because that allows me to do what I'm here to do. You know, about 3 or 4 years ago, a group of us, you've heard the story, 20 or so of us were gathered in our living room visioning for this community, and we had amazing clarity. Amazing clarity was coming through. And it took us weeks, but there was such synergy around it is a place to cultivate an attitude of love within ourselves and others around us, to vibrate at the frequency of love. And cultivate does not mean create, because divine love exists. It exists everywhere. You already are that. Cultivate means to nurture its presence. And then secondly, we were called to know and to draw upon a deep peace within us and bring that forth into all our interactions, to again vibrate at the frequency of peace and thereby be a healing presence in the world. And thirdly, we were called to do this in community. And not only a community that's welcoming to all, but a community that is specifically designed to allow each one of us to be seen, to be heard, and to be loved for who we are. Quote from our core values, a safe environment for everyone to be free to be who they came here to be. And fourth, we're here to shine. We are here to shine our lights. We're here to recognize the light, the spark of divinity that is within ourselves and each other, and allow it to shine. Recognizing that it is, quote, the nature of the universal spirit to forever seek greater expansion. And it does so through you and through me, through its creation. That was our divine download. These are our core values, and they still resonate deeply with me. I hope they still resonate deeply with you. And again, Brené Brown, she says, out of all the work that she's done, you know, she's talked to hundreds of thousands of people doing her research, asking them questions and listening deeply. She said, she said this is the one thing that she knows that she has learned through all her work. If you don't feel loved and a sense of belonging, you suffer. But she says, she gives us a really unique definition of belonging. She says, true belonging is a spiritual practice, and it is both the courage to stand alone and be part of something larger. And that stand alone could be figurative, it could be literal, but it's the confidence in who you are, what you are, who you came here to be, and knowing what is yours to do. I'm clear on what this community is. I'm clear on why I'm here to live freely, fully, authentically, you know, authentic expression. Since I was a child, I've known that called to me. I'm here to connect deeply and passionately with life, to share my inspirations. And I'm here to support your journey in that. And this week I went to extremes. Dance, pray, cry, repeat. Dance, pray, cry, repeat. I went to extremes with that connecting deeply and feeling passionately into life. Loud music, cussing and praying. Brené Brown says we're all cussing and praying. We're all cussing and praying. Your minister's not any different. But hopefully we do it together in community and feel that bond. We're not in isolation. You're never in isolation. And I want to close with a reading from Masando again, Hiroka. And again, he has a monthly column. It's called The Art of Being Human. And he says, we get to be the healers, those who forgive, those who care for their wounds deeply enough to become reconcilers, who do not run away from the challenges of our time, but breathe in deeply and lean into those challenges to give birth to something new. You, my dears, are being called to that. Are you brave enough? Are you willing to step up and step out? I hope so. And I'll be here with you every step of the way. Namaste. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Elaine.
Okay. Yes. Are we brave enough? Are we bold enough? Well, I rescued this song out of the archives from a long time ago. It's called Have No Fear, and there's a little surprise at the end. Have no fear, God is near, God is everywhere, and God's right here. God is one, God's in me too, God's in everyone, and God's within you. God's in everyone. God's in everything. God is everything. That's our first step in our spiritual mind treatment. Recognition that God is all there is. So now we're going to go into step 2, which is unification. We're always unified with Source, but we don't always remember. So this part goes, sometimes I'm alone and I think I'm separate, feelings coming up from deep within. Then I think again and remember oneness healing me. No, I'm not alone, feeling Spirit presence. Everywhere is home, for I'm in God's mind. Knowing all is one, I reveal its essence every time. Have no fear, God is near, God is everywhere, and God's right here. God is one, God's in me too. Where we unify. God's in everyone, and God's within you. So that was the first 2 steps of the spiritual mind treatment, our affirmative prayer. So step 3 is where we affirm, and we realize and declare. And this is about prayer. We know. When we affirm, we know. There's a universal consciousness that comes with the thought that I am blessed. I know. This I know. And I believe in my heart and mind with the faith of God that all is divine. I know. This I know. We can know for you. Prayer is communion, a sacred union, a secret place of the Most High. Prayer is an openness and a willingness to see the world with the eyes of God. I know. This I know. I know. This I Here comes step 4. I'm grateful for this consciousness, thankful when I'm feeling so blessed. I know that's the gratitude step. This I know. Step 5, releasing. Releasing now and letting go, allowing life to go with the flow. I know. This I know. I know. This I know. I know. And so it is. So it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Elaine. Beautiful. What a perfect, it's not an ending because we don't end, but it's just a continuance of the message and passion that Reverend Theresa shared this morning. I want you to take a moment, and you can do this since you're in the privacy of your own home or wherever you are, is just put your hands in the air like a big V, like your shoulders become the neck of a huge funnel. And the funnel is receiving all that God is. We use this expression, God is pouring in, through, and as you, in, through, and as me. So God is pouring in, through, and as you right now. And part of that flow is the high energetic of abundance, of joy, of peace, of love. And it's the energy. It's all energy. We teach that, we know that, we talk about it amongst ourselves. And so all that energy is flowing. And now just see yourself sharing some of that energy. And we share that energy in the form of money. Yes, it is in the one way. Money is energy. It is the energy that we receive as the flow from the universe. And as we receive it, we can share it. As we receive it, we give it. So in this moment, we support the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast, this dynamic, growing community that literally has roots worldwide based on just the people that are watching right now, the people that singers and so forth that have participated from around the country and the world, literally. So we are here to share, we are here to grow, we are here to grow from that abundance. So simply knowing that you're receiving all the time from the Spirit, knowing that you are receiving that infinite abundance, that infinite good, now allow it to flow forward and feel how it feels to know that as you give forward, more is received. That gives you that confidence that the Spirit is always working, again, in, through, and as you. So move it in, through, and as you, and give it forth into our community to support its furtherance, its growth, its eventual move back into live presentation for those of us that are in the Sarasota community, that we can actually sit together once again, and just knowing that we are supporting that activity right here and right now. And the ways to share are being posted on the Facebook and YouTube pages, so there's no secret on how to do it. And grow with us and experience the good of the Spirit all the time. Namaste, and now over to Bobby for our offering chant.
Thank you, Reverend Emil. Thank you. Accepting that energy, accepting that, funneling it through. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on.
Yay! Yay! Oh, I love what I do. I love what we do. I love what we create together. Thank you again so much for being here with us today. A couple quick announcements, and they're important ones. Next week, we have a beautiful musical experience by Emily Ross. Emily Ross is one of our familiar musicians, but she's going to do something unique for us next week. And so I hope you're here with us. It is our Meditative Sunday, always on the first Sunday of the month. We do a meditative practice together. And so we'll be doing that next week. And then I want to let you know that Julie Birch has been doing her meditation on Thursday evenings. I think it's 60 weeks now. Woo! We are so grateful for Julie and all the giving of her time and heart and expertise that she's been doing to offer that free service to all of us during this time. And she's going to take, we all are going to take a little summer vacation from that Thursday evening routine, the month of May and June. But I'm thinking maybe we could substitute a nature meditative walk. Maybe a walk on the beach at sunset, maybe a walk at the celery fields, maybe that kind of thing. And so I already asked you to let me know if you're interested in a Tuesday morning visioning. How about a Thursday, if you're here in town, a Thursday evening meditative walk. So let's see if those are some things that we could play with, and other people other than me could lead the meditative walk too. I would love that. So let me know if you're interested in that. And that's it. I'm going to go and post the link for our Zoom social time. And please do know that we always have at least one practitioner on that Zoom call. Always at least one practitioner. And so if you would like prayer support for something, we can put you in what we call a breakout room in Zoom, and you can have private time with this individual to do a quick 5-10 minute treatment for you, or you can schedule a full session with them for another time. But know that support is there available to you every single Sunday after the service. And with that, I'm going to go post and let Bobby finish this out. You have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Reverend Theresa. And if you would like prayer support, if you'd like to email about prayer support, email prayer@cslculturalcoast.org. We're going to finish it up with Let It Shine. So let your light shine, just like Theresa was saying. There's a light at the center of everyone. It could light up the world just like the sun. There's a flame within us that can light our way. It can burn away the darkness of a troubled day. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Whenever you see darkness, you've got to know that the light is within you. Everywhere you go, whatever you are facing, whatever's on your mind, you can help illuminate it. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let your light it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine. Woo! Let it shine.